Okay, Rob, again, good to have you here. We've just talked about the Jeffrey Stevens protocol, about its worth, and this year you do two other seminars in Magdeburg in our institute. The second seminar is three Jeffrey Stevens technique. Um, can you describe the seminar in one, two sentence? Can you put it into a nutshell?
Yeah, so these three techniques are really valuable to put as an extra in your toolbox. So symbology is the first technique. That's a technique that you can use really often. And then we have also the black room technique. That's a bit more niche. And then we have even a bit more niche than the black room is the in the zone protocol. We also use, we often call it also the golf protocol, but you can use it for any type of performance sports, but also you can also use it for a salesman, for example. So three techniques to add to your toolbox. And the good thing of these techniques is that you can use them all three. You can use them with or without formal hypnosis. So even when you're just a therapist that is not profiling as a hypnotherapist, and you have clients that you can't use hypnosis with all the time, you can use these techniques without, just say close your eyes, relax a bit and start using the technique. So you don't need formal hypnosis all the time for these three techniques.
So you don't need to be a hypnotist to use those techniques.
No.
So who is this seminar for and who is it not for?
The seminar is for hypnotherapists who wants to have extra tools in their toolbox, but it can also be for therapists, coaches, especially for coaches who are more into sports or performance. They can add it to their toolbox as well. They will not be able to use the hypnosis part, but they can still use the technique, like I said, with just close your eyes, and the technique will work as well. If you're a hypnotherapist, I will always suggest to use hypnosis in combination, so use it as a hypnosis session. But if you're just a coach and you have clients that don't want to be hypnotized, you can still use these techniques. So I think it's for all types of therapists, a bit more in general than also for the ones who don't want to use hypnosis or can't use hypnosis, because in some professions, or maybe when you work with athletes and you want to use these techniques, but they don't want to be hypnotized, or you don't want to call it that way, you can still use it.
Three techniques. And what are three concrete outcomes that the students get?
Let me talk about symbology, for example. One of the good things with symbology is that you can work 100% content free. So if the client doesn't want to tell you what the issue is or what the goal is, you can still do the session. So you don't even need to know as a therapist what it's about. So that's one of the benefits of this type of work, of session. Symbology, I use it most of the time for phobias. So it's actually, symbology is created to install or to take away bad feelings and install good feelings, or just to install good feelings. You don't need to take away the bad ones, you just can build up good feelings as well. So that's a very good one. And what for me, the reason why I use symbology sometimes instead of the Jeffrey Stevens protocol is that with symbology, and that's new because that's in the first version of symbology, this was not included. It's something that Jeffrey added later to it. With symbology, you can also give your client some resources that they can use later. So for example, I had some symbology sessions done on myself, and I sometimes use it, like it's 10 years ago that Jeffrey did that session with me, but I still have those resources. I can still close my eyes and go back to what he installed, and I can still get the benefits from it. So that's something that's really valuable with symbology, and of course the fact that you can work content free. The black room it's to install. It's actually deep trance modeling. So you will install skills from somebody else in your client. So your client needs to do a bit of preparation. So your client needs to know what skills and what person he wants to take those skills from. It doesn't need to be a famous person, because sometimes they think it needs to be, for a tennis player, it needs to be Djokovic, or for a golf player, it needs to be Tiger Woods. No, it can be an example that, a very nice example is from a client that I had once. He's a guitar player, not a famous one, just a guitar player, and they do performances, and he wanted to have the same on stage persona and not persona, but more the experience and the joy as his colleague in the band. So not a famous guitar player, but just his colleague in the band. So I did the black room technique with that guy, and he gave me the feedback that from now on is just much more enjoying his stage performance, because before he was just doing his thing, playing the guitar, and too technical and not enjoying it. And now he had the same joy as his colleague. So you don't need to be a famous person. And then in the zone is quite simple to explain. Everybody, even a hypnotherapist, knows what it is to be in the zone. You had those days that you were in the zone, that everything went 100% like you wanted to go. When I'm on stage, I have these moments that I was totally in the zone, that the words came out like nothing. So we can reproduce that in hypnosis, and we can make sure that our client is able to reach that in the zone state whenever they want to reach it. It will make them better in whatever they do. So if they are an athlete, if they are a performer, if they are a salesperson, if they are a therapist, you can use it for all different types that just making performance better.
What do students after the seminar better or differently with those techniques, or with the help of them?
They have more options. They have more options in their toolbox, and I think that's important, because sometimes you have the feeling that the techniques that you have, or the technique that you use most of the time, is not suitable for that client. So example for myself, like most of the time I use the Jeffrey Stevens protocol, but sometimes when a client starts explaining his goal, but it's not a clear goal, it's like difficult to tell the subconscious mind what the client wants, then I will go to symbology, because there I even don't need to know what the goal is. The client can just have it in his mind, and we can start working. So I think it's a benefit to have multiple tools in your toolbox, and these tools are so specific that for certain clients. And the good thing is, and that's something I will teach in that seminar as well, especially for the people using the Jeffrey Stevens protocol, and that's something I came up with myself. I created a way to use the black room technique after the Jeffrey Stevens protocol as a kind of future pacing. So you can expand your Jeffrey Stevens protocol and make it a bit more stronger. Not that you have to do it every single time you do a Jeffrey Stevens protocol, but in certain cases, it might benefit your work in the Jeffrey Stevens protocol to use parts of the black room as future pacing in the protocol. So those three techniques will give you extra tools that you can again start using in your own way, and sometimes take little parts of it and use it in other protocols or in other approaches.
Many benefits for therapists, for coaches, for people who do change work and therapy. What are the benefits for the clients?
For the client, in the symbology, the benefit is that they have the resources that they can use even 1 month or 5 years later, but also that they don't need to be hypnotized. For some clients, that's a benefit, and they don't need to tell. They don't need to even tell the story or tell the goal. In hypnotherapy, you don't have that much clients who don't want to explain what they want. what the goal is. But sometimes in coaching or you have clients who don't want to tell their background, or they don't want to tell what their goal is. Even in the black room, if they don't want to let you know what model they want to use, they don't have to tell you. So a lot of these techniques you can use content free, and that's a benefit for the client, because sometimes in certain situations they just don't want to share, and then they don't need to share.
For which client problems are those methods especially impactful or successful?
Yeah. So symbology, it's for installing or take away bad emotions, install good emotions. In PTSD, Jeffrey used it a lot with military personnel in the United States, with veterans coming back from war. So all types of PTSD you can use it for, but also making good things better, enhance good feelings, enhance confidence, things like that. That's and phobias. For phobias, I use it most of the time when I have a client with a phobia. I'm in my mind, I'm always a bit doubting between what am I going to do now, Jeffrey Stevens protocol or symbology, because they work both very good for phobia. And I remember asking that question to Jeffrey. I said, I'm always doubting using which of the two, symbology or Jeffrey Stevens protocol. And I said, how do you decide which one to use? And he said, don't overthink it. Just use your gut feeling, and the feeling you have will work the best. And that's actually correct. So I never have like, okay, it's a phobia, so I will use symbology. No, I will just sometimes I'm in my mind, I'm already thinking, I'm going to use symbology. And the moment I start my induction, I'm like, no, I think Jeffrey Stevens protocol will be better. And I just switch. So that's a good thing with having these things in your system. You can just switch. So yeah, that's the good thing there. So yeah, for those types of issues. Black room is to install skills. So that's, but the skill can be anything. It can be it doesn't need to be some sports or athletics or performance. It can be confidence or public speaking. One of the things that happened that is asked a lot. Leading sales pitches, leading conferences or meetings, whatever. It can be anything actually. And then of course in the zone is quite specific. That's actually installing being in the zone. So that's quite specific. So most of the time I use it with athletes and performers.
In the Jeffrey Stevens protocol seminar, you explain the technique or the steps, you demonstrate, students practice until they have done the whole thing. So what is the share of theory, practice, demonstration in this seminar?
Yeah, this one is also quite hands-on. So we are also I'm going to demonstrate all the techniques and we're going to practice them as well. And one of the things that I really want the students to experience is we're going to practice the techniques with and without hypnosis. So they can actually also experience it without a formal induction and with a formal induction. So because I think it's important, if they want to use it also in those both ways, that they also experience it in those both ways. So we're going to, it's a bit the same. We're going to, I'm going to explain it, and then we're going to practice it, and so that it will also become second nature.
Wonderful. Which mistakes avoid the students after the seminar?
Well, I think one of the things that's really important is using that gut feeling. I don't like that the therapist is too prepared and already knows, okay, I'm going to use this technique, I'm going to use this technique. Same when I do other programs or protocols that I learned or even created myself. I use these tools, I mix them together. And I think that's really important. Once you know all these different tools, just use your gut feeling and use whatever feels best at the moment for that specific client. And then the biggest mistake is to be too narrow, to be like, say, okay, this is stop smoking, so now I'm going to use this. This is weight loss, so I'm going to use this. For weight loss, I have three to four different approaches that I use, whatever. And even when a client comes for virtue gastric band, which is like a multi-session program, I will throw in a Jeffrey Stevens protocol. I can throw in a symbology. I can even use the black room for the future pacing. So I think that's being versatile. I think that's something that they will be able to do, and that will take out the mistake of being too narrow in their approach.
And if you could promise only one thing after the seminar, what will the students get out of it?
They will at least get one or two techniques that they will say, this is what I'm going to use a lot, and they will have that third one in their toolbox. Like I said, these are some of these techniques you will not use on a daily basis, or sometimes even not on a weekly basis. It depends. If you're, of course, if your niche is working with performers and sports people, you will use them more often, of course. But again, it will and I remember one of the students from the Jeffrey Stevens protocol last year, she I think at the end of, I'm not sure it was the first or the second protocol, at the end she came to the front and she explained that she used the symbology with one of her clients. I think it was a client where she was a bit stuck with, and she used the symbology, and the client was rid of the issue. So they will have extra tools in their toolbox that will make their life easier, and that's I think, again, it will make their life simpler.
Mm-hmm. And if someone still is undecided, what would you say?
I would say contact me for a symbology session, and I will change that feeling immediately, because that's what the technique is about. No, I think if you want extra tools, if you want to be able to work even without hypnosis and content free, then don't doubt. It will improve your skills as a hypnotherapist for sure.
Okay, thank you very much, Rob. We will continue with the interview for the next seminar.
Yeah.
Right now. Thank you.
Just gonna switch this, of course.
So.
Okay, maybe